please remind me what happened last week.
We
Nothing
killed a
much.
bitch, and another bitch, and 2 more bitches. So that was the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was the potions with our new robo friend. I know he's not actually a robot, but our metal friend, the metal man. We fought people, yeah. Got emotionally traumatized, and that's about it.
There were some interesting transformations.
Yeah. There was some very, very clutch disadvantage.
Man, that fight might have gone differently if you hadn't have accidentally made a deal with Baal, but
Yeah.
yes. And I believe where we left it off was all of you want to go and talk to some people and be like, hey, look what we did.
Yeah, Arazid's gone to get Sophia, and Inqua has gone back to our metal friend.
That is true. Okay. Arazid's gonna go get Sophia, and no one else is being fetched, so we should start with Inqua. If you're free to talk. Meow.
Yeah, I am. All right.
Ophabaris will look up as the door opens. How goes it?
Well, your monarch's dead.
Well, I'm not really say he's my monarch. It's not like I voted for him per se.
I know, but dead.
Oh, wonderful. I suppose I should start packing then, eh, what?
Yeah, guess so. Man.
Oh, no, what to take, what to take. I will confess I didn't think that you would do it.
Okay. Charging station. I can try to uninstall it.
What was that, sorry?
The charging is Is it charging station?
Ah, yes. Yes. I like to think of it as my little plinth. I might need some strong arms to help carry it, yes.
Oh, where is it? Do that.
It's just through my bedroom door. Behind a mirror. I thought it would be fancier that way.
That sounds very fancy. Yeah.
It's
So
quite large.
It is quite large. I guess I'll just start uninstalling it.
That would be most welcome. I will continue to pack. I have scrolls. I have potions. I have books. Oh god, how many books? So few bags. Tell me, son, do you have any crates or spare bags that I could borrow?
Probably. I don't have them on me, but I can probably grab a few. A little bit.
It might be useful. I will just have to try and sort my collection into the yeses and the maybes and the possiblies and the no's and the definitely nots. Yes.
They'll walk back out. Scream out to Ollie, hey Ollie, empty your sack. We need 500 pounds of extra storage.
Empty my sack?
Just do it.
I mean, if you're that concerned, I do believe there was another one in the market.
Yeah, but I'm sure we could find the money to buy it with in this place. Look, one of these crystal glasses. Ooh, shiny. They must be worth something. I mean, I could empty my sack, but I'd really rather not. It's got some very sensitive information in there.
Well, I'll just. How much is a bag of holding? How much is it?
Good question. Just give me a second. 150 gold pieces.
Oh, I could do that.
That is a Southern Dolores gold.
7 or 75?
150.
Oh, that's 150
Yeah,
on a
150
Lemke's
in.
gold?
No, 150 in Southern money.
Okay, so.
On
Oh,
Alembi's gold, it would be about 8, I think.
8?
No, it would be
I
more
thought
like
the
14.
I thought the conversion rate was 1 to 7.
It is. I was just trying to do it in my head. Oh, it's
Ah.
21.4.
I was gonna say, 'cause,
Yeah. I was
okay,
a bit
I was
off
very
with the.
This math ain't mathin'.
I've had to do
What's this?
zero maths in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I was panicking a bit that we may or may not have like massively overpaid for things.
I just toss out the. What did I say? 12, 24 gold. Like, just use this money to purchase it. I don't care.
Deal. Inqua, would you like me to go and get it for you?
That would be nice. Thank you.
Right. Try not to kill each other while I'm gone, and if you find any good books, save them. And with that, Ollie will follow in the same direction that Arazid recently went in.
Speaking of books, I think we agreed to loot the place out of session.
Right.
As I thought we were going to do that, then you said it would be better to do it in session. Maybe I'm just misremembering.
Maybe. I don't know. I was feeling a bit sick
Yeah,
when we were
that's why I
running
figured
last
we didn't
session
do
anyway.
it.
I probably forgot
Mm.
which way we landed on. I guess it's up to you guys. It'll take about 15 or so minutes for Arazid to return with Sophia, and probably about the same for Ollie to return with a bag.
Mm. I mean, Chance would be fine with waiting. We got all the time in the world at this point.
Where do you guys want to
Yeah,
go?
I mean, frankly, I'd rather use in-session time for other stuff rather than looting, unless you really want to do it in-session run. Or unless somebody else has a strong preference.
I have no strong preference.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing really I think is like the magic items. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting. Everything else, all the mundane gold items that haven't been already looted by the guard, I'm pretty sure we can probably just all agree to out of session that one.
All right. The magic items we
Yes, I
could
agree.
out of session as well, since it'll take you guys some time to find and then identify them.
All right, that works.
All right. So we'll say that you do a search of this place and find some things, and then I'll just make a note to do that when the game's over. In that case, we'll fast forward to Arazid returning with Sophia.
Yippee!
And the rest of the guys hanging around in the Bettingman Casino area. Do we just like kind of hang around these like corpses?
Yeah.
I'm a little paranoid. I'm keeping an eye on them, yeah. And also just staring at them with a blank stare occasionally.
Look, Squad just randomly materialized from an orb. I don't trust anything anymore. How can we be sure that they're actually dead?
I mean, you poke them. They seem pretty dead.
Yeah, but Squad's corpse also seemed pretty dead.
You can do a medicine check or an arcana check if you'd like to examine through one of those two lenses.
I already checked their pulse and stuff. I remember I did a medicine check last time.
Yeah, Chance has no idea. He swings a sword, doesn't do magic.
He's like, yep, those are corpses. I've made a lot of them in my life. Those seem like corpses.
They're starting to get cold.
You kind of like hold up one of Artemis's hands like over his face, and like the hand just, when you let it go, just flops onto his face. Yep, looks dead. Don't feel much magic energy around it. And Arazid has gone to the Druid Grove and requested Sophia's presence. Is there anything particular that you'd say to get her to come with you?
Just that it is urgent.
Okie dokie.
It requires your urgent attention.
Wait, why is Namaya there with a sleepy icon? Did we put Namaya to sleep?
We knocked Namaya out because we realized that we're going back on our deal. And they're going to be thrown in jail.
He's also restrained, I believe, by Ollie's hair rope.
Excellent.
Yeah, a fate worse than death, honestly.
All right, Casey.
It is contractually obligated that every one of my characters hates the Ollie hair rope.
I can't wait to like make you create like a tailor character who's super interested in fabrics and somehow still hates it. Alright. Arazid returns back into the casino, expecting that the others have not gotten very far, and you seem correct. Nyx is moved to behind the bar and has begun making some drinks for others.
Nyx, this is not a healthy coping mechanism.
Nyx just needs to deal right now. Oh, my.
Yeah.
So, remember how I promised I'd tell you before I did something?
Yes, I recall that promise.
So hey, in about T-1 hour, I'm gonna do something.
Dare I ask what that thing might be?
Gestures vaguely.
Sophia kind of like pinches the bridge of her nose. She doesn't really want to get any further. So they are gone. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And what now?
Nehemiah is just unconscious.
Oh, okay. So you only killed 4 people, not 5.
I mean, personally... Okay.
I mean, I've lost count how many I've killed, so what's another 4?
Cool.
To be fair, I really didn't want anything to do with the sisters, but they were trying to and almost successfully killed me.
You didn't ever think to maybe put some of them on trial? For their crimes?
I wanted to, but they wouldn't stop trying to murder us.
Well, Chance is going to point towards the sisters. Those 2 were a tragedy. These 2 deserved it, and I'm sorry, but magic casters don't really do well in jails, I've come to learn. They tend to break out.
I beg to differ.
You mean agree? You've been in jail 3 times and you've broken out 3 times.
It's neither here nor there. It is what it is. This is what happened. I wanted to make sure you heard from me, and we have sort of a plan, right, Chance? We did.
Oh, good. You have a plan for after your violent revolution.
Yes.
That's not exactly fair, considering how they ruled. This was relatively tame.
Violence excuses violence, does it? That is not what Bort taught us.
Nature is violent, Sophia.
No.
You know what? Nix, help me out here. What are you making?
Coping skills, apparently.
Excellent. I'll have 1 on the rocks.
Listen, I have a wonderful plan of how we can move forward. Given what has gone on and everything, and given the nature of the situation, Audra will be crowned ruler. You will be Sophia, will be placed in charge as head druid or whatever Audra was doing before. And our good friend here will work as an advisor. Then, while we are gone, saving the world and whatnot, the 2 of you will be in charge until we return.
In charge. Me. And a spice merchant.
We became relatively good friends. We trust her.
I hope that this is the will of the people.
Oh, well, that's the next step, is that we're going to drag the corpses of the dressing men to the arena, where we are going to announce all of this to the people after we file them all into the arena.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need a minute. It smells a lot like blood in here, you know. I'll see you at the arena. I think actually.
Are you sure you don't need to sit down? I'm sorry, I forgot.
I'm not in here.
Constitution.
I'm going to go get fresh air. Okay.
Just don't hyperventilate.
And Sophia disappears.
Well, that went relatively well.
Yeah, Sophia's never
Really?
really been into that violence for violence is the rule of beasts sort of thing.
I'm kind of worried about her.
Look. She has the people's best interest at heart, and that's why she was concerned.
We need
So?
somebody to be concerned. Something to balance my own nature, perhaps. Says Vera.
Exactly. We'll have a good check and balance of the two of you while we're gone. And then once that we return, we'll take over.
Mm.
And you can go about your business. Because once that we return, the second sun will be in the sky and everything will be good once again. And then we can run this place how it should be.
Then everyone could go home.
Yes. If all goes according to plan, I shall not see you again after you leave Grove.
Aw, I just realized that. That's so sad.
Do not weep for me, child. If everything goes according to plan, you can always come and visit in the Feywild.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Do you have like a house there?
Of course, but I will not give you my address.
Then how would I visit?
Riddles. Threads. Follow the pixies.
Okay.
The Feywild is an interesting place, but we'll find that out later. What exactly are you doing with this? Vera kind of like nudges Nemaya's prone body with her toe.
We were thinking about imprisoning him. You know, he's not much of a fighter. He's not a magic user, and it'll probably placate Sophia a little bit after the murder we did.
Yes,
No,
he
I
is
know
a lover,
exactly
not a fighter. Says
exactly
Vex.
what we should do. The dressing men's cannot answer for their crimes. However, their people still can.
Oh, so like a trial, but only of people who actually like willingly participated, not people who are coerced.
Obviously. But it was, from what we were told, he was a willing participant, so
Oh, he was definitely a willing participant.
therefore, a trial by peers, a group of peers and whatnot, who can find either innocent or guilty, whatever justice system works here, that will placate the people who want to see actual justice, seeing how we have two corpses who neither would actually have stood a fair trial.
I believe I know what you're talking about. Maybe it'll work. Everyone likes a good inquiry every now and then, shakes things up.
Turn over no, or what's the saying? Leave no stone unturned, etc., etc.
Let no leaf be uncovered, yes.
So, we'll throw him into the dungeons for now, or wherever prisoners are kept, and he can stand trial. We should probably start rounding people into the arena to make this announcement.
Yes.
Oh, I should put a message in the sky.
That would be an efficient way of doing it, for sure, darling.
All right.
yeah.
So,
I guess I'll look out the window and cast Skywrite. Big news, come to the arena. And then, like, just an arrow pointing to the arena.
How do we want to do this? I talk, tell people what's going to happen, etc.
I mean, you're so eloquent.
Some would say blunt.
Really? Yeah. I really like the way you talk. It just leaves like no room for misinterpretation.
Yeah, a lot of people call that blunt.
Well, I think it's honest.
Well, we'll have to see how the people react.
Nyx suddenly, like, loudly puts down the glass that they were drinking out of and begins to walk away as well.
Wait, are you okay?
Yep, I'm fine. I'm going to
Are you
see
gonna-
you all at the arena.
Okay. Is
You
Nyx walking straight?
As straight as they can.
Maybe you should come with us. Okay, just don't fall over.
I'm fine. Yeah,
Have some water.
you seem preoccupied anyway. I'll just see you later.
Oh no.
When Nyx exits the room, you hear a shout, Nyx! Is everyone busy? You don't hear their response. But you do hear Ollie's footsteps walking up the stairs and over to Ophibarus's.
All right, let's get this started. And James is going to pick up one of the corpses
Alright.
and then try to pick up the other.
2 would be a strength check. Or athletics, I suppose it would be.
19.
Oh, yeah. 1 cunt per shoulder.
Chance kind of looks towards the rest of the group. Well, to the arena, I presume.
Yeah.
I'm assuming between the rest of you, you can carry Namaya. And possibly Ryza and Sharon if you want.
I can create an ice slab that I can move around with shape water to carry probably just one person.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can carry anyone, but I can try. I'll try.
You could carry like a foot.
Yeah, exactly. I can like hold up the little beatsies.
Solas, some assistance, please, maybe.
Meanwhile, Ollie bursts into Ophibarus's study. Inqua! 1
Thank you.
free
Did you
sack.
get it?
Oh yes. They asked me for 150 gold, and I offered them 90, and they said 150. So I offered them 100. So anyway, I spent 150 South DeLorean gold. And I have a bag. It's not very pretty. They didn't do any embroidery services. No, like, little daffodils. But it'll work.
That'll be fine, thank you.
Okay. Well, I saw that everyone else is like heading out. Do you wanna go or do you wanna stay?
I'll stay here for now. Just get everything done.
Okay. You two have fun. Talk about your little potions. Inqua makes a mean margarita.
Yep.
Okay, bye. I assume with that the party as a whole is going to make their way over to the arena, save Inqua.
I also assume this to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we're just taking the Hemaya with us for now, and just whenever he stirs, just like smacking him on the back of the head.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a traumatic brain injury by the time this is over.
Maybe it'll fix his personality.
So true.
Repent, etc., etc.
A fair amount of people are looking up at the sky in a mixture of suspicion and interest. And there seems to be a steady stream of people marching their way towards the arena. As you pass by some of them, especially Chance, carrying 2 corpses, and I'm just going to say a mixture a mixture of the other 4 of you carrying the 1 unconscious body. You get some looks.
Hi, nice to see you. Hi.
Eventually, you make your way through the crowds. Since you already know the way to the stage in the middle, those of you who participated in a particular fight will lead the way onto the arena. And what do we do?
So just a note, Solas isn't actually going in. He's staying outside.
Outside the arena as a whole.
Yeah, he's like close enough to where he can overhear stuff, but not inside.
Okay, he doesn't want to be an active part of this interesting occasion.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Well, that leaves Ollie, Arazid, Audra, and Chance on the arena floor.
Arazid's got stage fright.
I will kind of let Arazid hide behind me physically.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Most
Chance will,
people you know are there.
yeah, Chance will proudly walk out, the corpses of Solaris and Artemis on his shoulders still, and he will just unceremoniously dump them in the middle of the arena, looking around, gauging reaction.
There's a lot of curiosity. A lot of, ooh, what is that?
Chance clears his throat as he begins to ascend using his winged boots.
Oh, before you do that, I'm going to give you guidance just by touching his shoulder.
As he will kind of motion down towards himself. People of Grove, the tyrants are dead. Just a short while ago, myself and others, for the sake of the Grovian people, slew the tyrants Artemis and Solaris for their crimes against the people. We know that many were under their control of charm magic or tormented into silence by various means. Live in fear no longer. For you now live as free people, not under these tyrants. From this point onwards, Grove will have a new leader. One you all know very well. And he'll kind of come back down from the air, and we're going to grab Audra's wrist and raise her hand into the air. Your new leader! And he'll kind of take a step to the side.
There's a lot of murmuring going on in the crowds. As one may expect. A lot of it is like quite supportive, quite surprised at this turn of events. There is a not insignificant angry toned murmuring.
Chance will once again take to the air. In these changes, there are going to be 2 others who will help guide and apply some checks and balances, something that was not given to the previous 2 tyrants. Vera of the House of Spices will be taken on as a formal advisor to help guide us during this tumultuous times and to ensure that the merchants of the house, as well as those in the market district, are kept, that their deals are honored, so long as they do not negatively impact the people of Grove. And as well, Sophia of the Druid's Grove will also be taking up the role of head druid. This is to ensure that the people still have somebody to come and speak to on issues. That is not Audra. That is not myself. That is not anybody in relation to us. Somebody who they can come to privately and speak their mind, who can then share that with us. She will ensure that the plant life is kept green and prosperous, that the people are kept prosperous and free, and will also be a voice of reason that we will listen to. Now, given these changes and their sudden occurrence, I can understand that many of you have questions, many of you have concerns. I will now bring the floor to each of you. Should you wish, please step up and ask your questions.
One figure immediately jumps up, though it's hard to tell since they are it seems about a 3-foot tall walking suit of armor with a 8-foot long halberd. What makes you think that you can rule us? Just waltz in here, kill our monarch, and then install your own?
Audra will step forward. I'm sure you might know me. Many of you know me. I grew up in the city. I love this city. It's my home. Always will be. It wasn't a lightly made choice, what happened, but violence occurred because I don't believe Artemis and Solaris would have ever willingly faced justice for their actions, and they were too powerful for even me to force them to do so.
Could you please roll me a persuasion check?
Oh, fuck.
This will make or break our entire path of life.
You
May
can
I
do it
give
with
myself
advantage. Yeah. I imagine that you would kind of cast the guidance upon yourself as you
Before I
stepped up
stepped
to
forward,
answer
yeah.
this question. And it would be with advantage since Chance has laid a lot of the groundwork.
So 16?
The individual in question, who is somebody you recognize as Perdak Longstep, Artemis's
Stealth.
head of guards. He spits at the ground, which is about 50 feet down and made of water anyway. You'll never be my monarch.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Verdak.
At this point, a gigantic claw sinks through the roof of the arena, and I need everybody on the arena floor to make a dexterity saving throw to avoid being hit by falling masonry.
And none of us get a +5 to this because Solas is outside.
Hell yeah, brother!
Look who's the
I'm
smart
pretty
one.
sure
Personally, I'm the smartest here.
Who knew not wanting
that's
to be
really
associated with this was a good idea?
Whoa.
Well, I'm being crowned, so I don't have a choice here.
Oh, damn. Looks like you guys are doing fine without me, though.
This is when Inqua comes in. Wait, no, Inqua's not here. We need
Yeah.
Ollie.
Ah, yes.
Aha, we have the dexterous among us.
Nat one, nat one, nat one, nat one.
Yep, I chose Dex over Charisma, and it was a choice.
Okay.
Consequences of your actions.
You are all able to avoid the falling masonry as part of the roof is ripped out. And peering in through the hole.
Ah,
Whew, okay, that's
Ah,
I feel a lot
fuck.
closer than. Hi,
Is
that's
the great
our
bitch.
question, did we get like a short rest or anything
Nope.
before this?
No, you did
Ah,
not.
fuck.
I offered good berries. Nobody took them. I don't think.
You are all quite struck by this thing's gigantic presence. Its head extends down through the hole, and it doesn't feel like it's speaking directly in your brain, but nor is it talking conventionally. It seems to just exude words from its brain into the consciousness. Who dares petition me for a pact?
Sorry, what was that last
Cool.
word? For what?
A pact.
Chance looks towards everybody else before kind of walking up through the air more closely. I do.
Chance hears in his head. Please do not.
Oh my god.
It focuses all of its attention directly upon you, Chance. They who remove my seats of power must fill them. Your
Exactly.
power
I was.
to my power. Your power to mine. Kneel.
Chance will take a deep breath, thinking things over for a split second before kneeling midair.
I'm gonna wild shape into my dragon form. I can only fly. My fly speed is only 10 feet, but I'm gonna try to catch up. This is bad.
Okay, you're not petitioning yourself, you are just trying to stop Chance.
I'm just
doing
trying
so.
to intervene. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, Chance was standing kind of far enough up that he was above everybody type thing
Yeah,
to
no,
speak.
he. I don't know if I'm gonna catch him in time. I'm slow. It's more like floating. But the dragon will hear in its head, in Draconic, once I get close enough. Wait.
You dare tell me what to do!
I dare a lot of things. Wait.
Okay. I'm gonna need a wisdom saving throw from you, please, Audra.
Natural
Nice.
20.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You feel an almost overwhelming, frightful presence being exuded from this creature, focused almost entirely upon you. But there's a weakness in this magic. It appears to also be trying to form, as it were, a pact with someone else. And it doesn't quite hit as hard as it could, and you are easily able to avoid this call to land and to kneel. Chance will hear in his mind, "Submit yourself. Your soul is mine. I
Do
rule
not
you."
touch him.
For a time.
Oh no.
But
No.
hear this.
Forever
I hear.
or die.
Listen. Do you want a ruler? I am willing to offer myself for now. But know this. Your days are numbered. I know exactly who you are.
Ah! Insolent fool! This brave young suitor. Let's see how you do against my presence. I'm going to need both you and Audra to roll a con save.
Motherfucker.
Even though Solas is in the entrance, you're not getting a benefit.
Natural 20.
What the fuck?
Don't fuck with my boyfriend.
God, I need to pull up my notes and try and find exactly the name.
I actually got
What's the
exactly
great
these
bitch's
people.
name?
Which one? It's like portmanteau name.
Amanazid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As this breath comes flying towards Chance, he does not react as he just roars back, "You do not scare me, Amonazid!" How much damage am I taking?
So much.
That's not enough to
Yeah, you're gonna take that. Audra will take half of
5
that.
HP in a dream!
Yeah, Audra is going to take half of 73, which would be
Which is good because
36.
Yeah, I'm still up. And Amanazid will hear in her head, shouldn't you be more worried about your son than this place? And I want to try to send an image of Azarkul telepathically to them.
Ooh, let's see how good your luck is going to stretch. Please give me a persuasion check. You do not have time to roll guidance.
What?
Sorry, I'm really into this. I'm sorry. I didn't mute myself.
My
as that's
vessel
happening-
does what it does.
As that's happening, Chains just stands up from the kneeling position in the sky, just arms crossed, staring down this being.
Let us do what we will here. We're only mortals. We'll only be here for a short time. Tend to
So
your own.
you are not the ones that will rule this city.
We are, with or without you.
You will never get the power that I offer. You will never get the safety it provides. You will die. You will all die.
Everyone dies, even you.
I thought I told you, Amonazid, your days are numbered. I think
Yours
that
are more
your head
numbered.
I think your head will make a great mount on the wall.
I look forward to the day when you try to prove that. It turns away from addressing you and addresses the masses themselves. Know this. These people have no divine writ to rule. They will attempt to install their own governance, not permitted by this world. You will suffer, you will die, or you will reject them. You have 24 hours, and then your city is destroyed. And with that, Arazid begins to snake her head out of the hole that she ripped open.
Can I attempt to do something kind of crazy?
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first crazy thing that happened today.
Sure. So I know that Arazid is a magically combined. It's a magical combination of two creatures, right?
Yeah.
That was done using some sort of magical ritual.
So you want to cast Dispel Magic?
I want to try to dispel magic to dispel that ritual and rip this being into two beings.
Oh, fuck yes, you can try.
You're an insaniac. You are. Oh my god.
I'm gonna cast it at the highest level I have, although I'll probably still have to roll for it, which is 4th.
So you're upcasting it by 1 level.
I'm upcasting by 1 level, but I know it's probably a higher than 4th level ritual that caused this to happen.
You know what? It is. So you need to make a spellcasting ability check. DC is 10 plus its level, assuming that it is a conventional spell that does this.
So level 9.
You dispel any magics focused upon this creature that are up to a level 9 spell.
Does anything visible happen?
It sneers at you as it moves. Ooh, I feel something in my bones. You mortals think that you can play with the gods and win? You think I would be so ignorant as to base all of my being on one spell? You have untwined one thing. I will collect more tomorrow.
I'm gonna immediately cast it again if I'm still within range.
You should be more worried about Sklada, Arazid. We've already killed the bitch once. A second time won't be that much harder.
Copium, sorry.
She has found new skills since you last saw her. But here is the choice. Jurass or Grove or Own. Save a city or your mother. I look forward to hearing your decision. And please roll that wisdom check for me once more.
It's only 2.
And
Well, actually, no, it just gets rid of level 3 or higher, because
yeah,
this spell's automatically 3.
cool. Well, this will not halt Arazid's retreat, although I'm sure that they wouldn't call it such. And eventually, what you can see through the hole in the ceiling is the sky.
As soon as the sky clears, Solas is running in, screaming, "Chance, what the fuck?"
It's hard to hear over a collected mass of other people screaming.
Chance will look down towards everybody. Quiet!
Before we move on, can I do some sort of Arcana check to figure out what I undid?
Sure.
I need to write all this down in my notes. Give me like 5 minutes. Hold up.
Never mind, it's too chaotic of a moment.
That's fine. You're just like, wait, what? No. Oh god, so many things happening. Quiet comes over the arena once more.
Chance will place a hand on the hilt of his blade as he walks down a bit, looking around, meeting eye contact with vast amounts of people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that I took the brunt of a dragon's breath and still stand if you do not think that we cannot protect you? I understand that you may be afraid. I understand that many of you might flee. However, note this. I will lay down my life for this city, if need be. That is the protection I can offer. The power to slay the tyrants who ruled here, and the power to stand up in defiance of their ruler. If you think you can brave the desert as you flee, know this. Blue Rock Lake is no more after Sklod decided to destroy the water source. Where else do you think you can go?
But
Are you going to flee to the north and attempt to fall under the protection of Underbarrow, the one who you all shunned? Do you really think that he would take you in? Or are you going to go sell yourselves as slaves to Sklod? Or perhaps some of you will try and make the trek far north to Onalembo. Many of you might perish. We have options here. If everybody comes together, we can defeat the great bitch.
But I hope, and I'll like hover so that I'm like kind of next to Chance, that you don't decide to stay out of fear, but out of love for this place that we could all build together and make better. You've seen what kind of power this being embodies. It's cruelty and violence, and I want to build something else, and I hope you all help me.
I would like each of the pair of you to please roll another persuasion check.
Can one of us roll it with advantage?
I kind of want to use each of your rolls as the advantage, because I feel like you each contributed very well to this.
Look, I'm good at lying, not at rallying people.
It seems to quiet the populace. Some of them are already leaving in their droves, pushing past Solas as they do. The one who originally did an outburst, Perdak Longstep, stares at you, Chance, with a curious mix of anger and being impressed.
I'll
But
give a nod to him.
the arena seems to end up clearing in quick time.
Chance will return to the ground. Before, like, as soon as he sees that there's, like, no one around, he's just gonna, like, collapse to the ground and just start breathing very heavily.
Your wounds are like a yellowing and bubbling, almost feeling like they're festering.
I slowly lower myself down I believe I can at the beginning of each turn. I'm going to change my wild shape to Chalice, which is the first time you guys would have ever seen this on me. And then I will cast Healing Word on Chance at 4th level and just put a hand on his shoulder and say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, that didn't go the way that I planned.
15 healing.
Plus 2d8 from my Chalice form.
26. You
But
feel
I guess it
slightly
confirms.
less dead.
I guess it confirms that the Solaris and Artemis are actually dead. You know, I really liked to think that Mechas killed that fucker.
I was hoping the same, to be honest. Goodberry, are you really okay? That was a lot.
Yeah, that was. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to survive that act of defiance. I thought I was at least falling to the ground.
I would never let that happen.
Alright. Well, we need to prepare. We need to tell Inqua. We need to rest.
Yeah, I've expended almost all of my magical energy, so it's a good thing I was able to distract her.
Alright, we need anybody capable who wants to stay and defend. Have them all meet back up at whatever place we're going. Probably one of the manses, if I had to guess. We need to formulate a plan. I need to know how many do we have that wish to stand in defiance? How many are we trying to protect? What weapons do we have? What casters do we have? What magics can they do? There's so much to do.
You need to take stock of your forces, basically.
Yeah. We have people at the Grove who can, I mean, they're not, some of them are like Sophia, they're not necessarily all pro-violence, but I'm sure in self-defense.
Chance will stand with a bit of a groan. Look, we need to figure out exactly our situation here. I'm going to go back to the manse to fill in Inqua on the situation. If everybody wants to gather what forces we can muster and have them there, I will take command of the situation. I'm sure if you tell people that or at least some people, that I will be the one leading the charge or defense, whatever the hell you want to call it, I can tell that act at least won over the respect of those who know warfare and no fighting. It was nothing less than a small miracle that it happened, but it happened nonetheless.
I'll see what I can do and who I can gather, and I'll check in with. I do know some people, some good people in the guard. I'll try to find them.
All right, I'm going back to the manse. I need at least like a bit of time to rest and recuperate before I see people. Oh,
Audra's just gonna start chugging good berries.
Yeah, Chance is then going to just like start walking out. He's just gonna like brush past Solas in a way and just look and be like, "You want to fight a dragon?"
Do I have a fucking choice?
There's always a choice, so I've learned. I'm not going to make anybody who doesn't want to fight.
I wasn't really asking you directly, but I get your point.
Yeah.
We have 24 hours as stated. We need to make the most of it as we can. 8 hours needs to be dedicated to sleep and preparation on our part, and then we also have 16 hours that we need to prepare for everyone else. I should probably establish some form of shelter. The rain is not going to cut anymore. Roof's gone. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going back to the manse to alert Inqua and Ophibius, see what we can do there. I've told everybody else to muster what forces we have. Anybody who's willing to stand in defiance, help us in any which way. Then we can gauge plans. Let's try and meet back there in like an hour or two so we can start figuring out plans. Because if we need to abandon the city and flee, we should probably figure that out before the 11th hour.
No, we've got 24.
It's a figure of speech.
Oh.
I mean,
Arazid is going to go with Audra if Audra allows him to.
Absolutely.
Exiting the arena, you notice that many of the people that you brought into the arena with you, such as Nyx and Sophia, have disappeared. Vera remains, looking a little bit more doubtful than before. As you exit, you see that Sophia is standing by the nearby lake, looking down.
Chance is not going to talk to any of them. He's gonna make his way back to the manse at this point.
Yo, Inqua, guess what you missed?
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to Sophia, and then the plan's to go to the grove, to the druid circle, to see if I can get anybody who'd be willing to fight.
Cool.
So, you okay?
A lot of things have happened.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. Oh, sweet guy, I haven't even told anybody. I think Quinn's alive.
Respectfully, dear, we may all die tomorrow. Does it matter right now?
I don't know. I don't believe that we're all going to die. That's not positive thinking, Soph.
You're right. Maybe I need to reflect more, embolden myself. I will find you later. I must meditate.
Are you going to the circle?
No. I'm going to
Alright.
my happy place.
Do I know where that is?
You know that she has like a secret like nook somewhere just outside of the city, but she's never been very forthcoming with exactly where it is, and you've never pushed the matter since you yourself have similar safe places in the woods that you like to keep to yourself.
Can I give you a hug, or are you still too mad at me for that?
Sophia will wrap you in the tightest hug that she can.
Oh, that feels good.
No matter what happens, thank you for all of your guidance. It has been a good life.
I'm gonna squeeze her back really hard and say, I never would have stood up to them if I didn't think we could win this.
I hope you're right. No, as I said, I will meditate. As she releases you and begins to walk off to the northeast.
And then after she's out of earshot, I'll turn to Arazid and say, we didn't make a mistake, did we?
I don't know if I can be too comforting in that regard because I feel currently a lot of regret, but I know that no matter what, change is happening, and I think change is important. Sorry if that was not very comforting.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm not used to being comforted, so I don't really have like a standard for what that should be like.
Well, we can walk and we can talk and I can try again. Sorry. Oh man.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Because it has to be fine. Because if it's not fine, what can we even do about it?
Yeah, exactly. I think every word you just said was true, and yeah.
I hope you don't hate me. I couldn't let Chance do that. I just couldn't.
No, I'm happy that you didn't let Chance do that. I'm that was not a mistake.
I just couldn't let him.
Chance arrives back at Artemis's Manse. What has Inqua been up to? With
Hopefully
Ophibaris.
finished packing everything up.
Yeah, you'd be about done with the packing. The bag of holding has come in particular handy here. He's managed to squeeze in a huge amount of potions and reagents.
Alright then. I think we're done. Anything else you need?
You have managed to dismantle my apparatus.
Yes, it's now very easy to carry. Or
Um,
easier to carry.
I think when it comes to dismantling that before Chance gets here, can you roll me an Arcana check to determine how successful you would be at dismantling this thing?
Could I use Tinker Tools instead?
Yes, you
Or
may.
is that okay?
I was thinking there was probably something a bit more pertinent for you, but I couldn't remember what it was exactly. You, upon examining this thing a lot closer, realize that almost the entirety of the mechanism is redundant. What is actually useful for charging is simply a small wire loop in the very center, and when it is housed in a larger metallic structure, the resonance gives off a harnessed electricity. So you could theoretically remove said wire and install it in something else and make things a lot more portable.
Probably a good idea. I guess I'll just do that.
You gain one wireless charging wire.
Wireless charging wire.
And Ophibaris and you are gathering up your things when Chance arrives.
Chance just like slams open the door as he walks in, looking like absolute shit. Like it looks like he has jaundice.
Exactly the SpongeBob fish meme then. Hey!
Rev up those fryers, cause I am sure hungry.
We have a situation.
What did you do this time?
I didn't do anything. The great bitch showed up.
Uh-huh.
Claimed 24 hours before they're coming to destroy the city.
Really?
Ophibaris, our good friend, what do you have to fight against a poison-breathing dragon?
No, stop. You know these actions have consequences, and yet you still kill them all. You've brought this whole city into anarchy. You have done everything possible wrong. Our goal is simple. Let the orbs get the husk, restore the sun. That will solve a lot of problems. But no, you had to fix these problems in the short term. Right now, if we do this quicker, get the sun up, we're saving a lot more lives than by destroying a monarch. We're going to kill more people. Probably that sun has ever killed. And you know what? I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm leaving. That's it. I'm gonna do the quest that you're not able to do. Too distracted in politics and other whatnot.
A hand moves to Chance's blade as he takes a deep breath.
Ophibaris, if I'm done, if you want to come with me, we can go on a nice adventure together. I figured out how to make your charger wireless, by the way.
Oh, fantastic!
All it has to be do is connect it to a large metallic object. So I'll give that to you. I'm leaving.
You're not walking away with the orb.
I don't have the...
Does Inqua not have the fire orb? I thought that's who had it.
Solas took it.
Oh. I don't know if Chance knows that.
I don't think anyone knows that.
I kind of figured that out on my own. I would think.
You could insight Inqua to see how truthful he's being.
Even if I did have the orb, I personally you want to take it. Because I don't know about you. Those blue and strats seem like it gives you the upper hand here, does it?
I'm going to say this once. I respect you, Inqua, both
Respect
as
my
a
decision
scholar
too.
and a friend. You're making a mistake.
How am I making a mistake? You were the ones who made the mistakes in the first place. You've got
If
us
your
into the
true
situation.
goal is to restore everything, what are you going to do? Go dive by yourself and potentially with Ophabaris into the chasm to go after the husk, potentially dying in the process? So you get the husk. Then what? Do you two really think you can take out Squad? Or take the water orb away from Squad? And then after that, we have the island. We have the other 3 orbs. What then, Inqua? What then?
Well, then I come back. It's simple. You two, you 4, 5. How many are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. The 6 of you are wasting your time. Getting, like I say, involved in pointless antics, other whatnot. You're wasting valuable time. This is my only goal. I have so much time. Yet we're wasting it. Throwing it into the fire.
So what?
There's a
That's
solution.
it?
A quite simple solution. I walk out of here, find people who actually will focus to this cause, and leave. Maybe I'll take the Gembe. Life easier. You're not using it. Probably never will. You're just gonna sit there and collect dust.
We have a chance to strike a great deal against our enemy. Do you really think that this dragon entity of olds that somehow has a finger in every single pie is really just going to sit there? We were going to come to Cross eventually. We seen them when we freed Mechas back on the island. We seen them come back and Mechas fight with them. We do not know where Mechas is anymore. We do not know where Sunny is with the Gembe that he took. What we do know is that this dragon is back, and that we know that they are the one who has given power to Sklod. They are the one who has given power to Henry. What do you think happens if we are able to strike the killing blow on this thing? It would mean prosperity for the realm while we work to finish what we started.
Right now, you're thinking too far into the future. I think the more important question is how are you going to strike it? That's all that matters right now to you. How are you going to kill it? I don't know. You know, just I saw part of what happened. I'll tell you, breath of looked to be poison didn't be all that forgiving to you. Don't think that along the combat will help you anyway. The dragon. I've studied dragons a little bit. Kill a dragon. You can. But it's a death sentence. People are going to die. And you declare yourself monarchs. I'm done. I'm leaving. There's nothing left. These are your consequences to your action. You are free to join me. You're free to join me over bars.
I would like
Or
that
you
very
can
much.
Very well then. You're on our way. Let's go find some other friends who are in a similar situation. Not keen on fighting a dragon. Pointless fight. Wasting our time as of right now. There's no way he is going to get, or she is going to get stronger. When we have so much opportunity, time, grow,
Does
be the best
chance follow?
warriors.
As like
No.
Inqua and Overbarus kind of like slip past. Alright.
I ask you to think about one question. What are your priorities? Just think about it.
Inqua and Overbarus stroll out of the house. I feel like there would be a great opportunity for a 10-minute break.
Oh boy!
Matt, are you leaving the party? What's happening?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, no, no,
No
no,
further
no.
comments.
I'm gonna rot in the shower.
Maybe I'll do something on cue.
Yeah. Let's say 10 to the hour. And then we'll continue. So where does Chance go after that happens?
There's a nice fireplace just right over there. He just goes and sits down.
Alright. And what about the rest of the party?
I think Audra and Arazid were on their way to the Druid Grove to check to see if anybody would be willing to defend the city.
Right.
Yes.
And they would encounter Inqua along that road?
Inqua, are you coming with us?
And Overbarus.
Now, you know where Sophia is? I just have a question for her.
She went off to be an animal in the woods for like a hot minute, just to like process everything that's been happening. So I don't know where she is. She should be back soon, though.
Direction? Okay.
Like a northwesterly direction.
Thank you. I'll just start heading in that direction.
Okay, I'll talk to you
Okay.
later.
Hi.
Cool.
That was weird, right? I say, turning to Arazid.
Well, he can kind of have a one-track mind sometimes. I think that's pretty normal.
Okay. Solas, are you coming, or?
I have a couple things I want to do. Sorry.
Okay, we'll see you at the manse later.
Sure.
Alrighty.
I would like to change my course of action instead. Just go to Solas first and then towards
Okay.
wherever Sophie is. Look, Solas, I'll be blunt with you. That's Nisa's in character. I'm leaving. Done. My job is gather the orb, fix the sun. I'm not doing this. Spending way too much time. You're the most reasonable person here. If you want to join me, you are welcome to. We can solve this problem together if you want.
It's going to be a fun time.
Let me say this. You may think you're doing the best thing for now. However, when we fix this world, if we do not do this, then that will be, what, several hundred less people that we've saved by doing so? I understand you want to get things done, but going too fast can be harmful. Just keep that in mind. I'm not going to stop you, mind you. That's your choice.
So as far as Inqua knows, Sophia is somewhere off in the farmlands.
Just head over that way.
Yeah. And I will tell you what you find in person, privately.
Oh, okay.
All right. The vast majority, well, half of you go off to the Druid Grove. What does Solas do?
First thing, assuming Vera here is still nearby, he's going to just head off in her general direction.
Yeah, she kind of hung around the arena, watching other people, thinking quietly to herself.
You good?
That is an interesting question.
Might be a bit vague, I'm sorry. What do you think of this whole situation?
I will admit I kind of believe your colleague was right. It seems like a lot of messing around and not very much doing your job. A place like
No,
this
don't.
should never survive after the calamity gets undone anyway. Saving it is pointless.
That may be true. However, it's less the fact that we can do this now, and more of a fact that we kind of have to. For this is a problem that we started, almost certainly, and so it's our responsibility to fix it. And, well, don't know if you've really heard, but we are quite the good problem fixers. As long as problems, well, are problems we started. We cause a lot of problems, that's what I'm trying to say, and end up fixing them somehow by some sheer miracle.
You have wagered the lives of an entire city on that hope. Let's hope it's a good one.
I mean, we've done something similar before, actually. Now that I think about it, this is a very familiar situation. Sort of, I guess.
What happened last time?
maybe. Oh, well, you know, dragon leading a bunch of people wandering around the desert, though not in a civilization. Did a bunch of stuff that ended up with that group of people that he was following being put under new management. TLDR, we killed the dragon. So, yeah. Though granted, that one wasn't as strong as whatever the fuck her business is, though we have also gotten stronger since then.
Strong enough, I hope.
Well, that's still in the cards. But well, what I want to ask, will you be helping?
It's the only way that I can be assured for me to rule in your stead, is it not?
Understandable. I very much understand the selfish goal of this. So, yeah, appreciate it.
One thing that may be of interest about dragons They often
Mm.
like their sense of smell. I may or may not have mentioned, I am first and foremost in this reality a spice merchant.
Huh.
Would you like some stink bombs?
It could be useful, I guess.
Then I'll see what my friends and I can whip up.
Just make sure it's quick.
I know the time limit, trust me. I'll be in the house.
Which one?
She gestures across the pond.
Ah, right.
Good luck on the rest of your prep.
Oh boy, what have we done?
The grove, the druid grove, I should say, is it's rather lively in comparison to its normal calming silence. There is quite a few people running about, hurrying to pack. As you get nearer, some of you see that Nyx is among the people packing.
You can't be serious.
What? You want me to just roll over and let some new maniacal creature rule? Fuck
That's
that.
not what I want at all.
I'll take
What
my
do you
chances in the
maniacal-
forests.
That's exactly what we're standing against. What have you heard? What did you was that your understanding?
That creature is crazy. And powerful.
True and true. But I don't know why you think we're just going to let it rule.
I just
Why do you
don't
think
you
we
can
stood up
stop
against it?
You were barely able to defeat Artemis and Solaris, and they are its pawns.
Maybe I was barely able to defeat them, but many of my friends were barely scathed during that fight. We're stronger together than we are scattered to the winds. And if nobody stands up and fight, this is the way it's going to be for everywhere. This creature has its claws everywhere where civilization is.
So maybe the smart thing to do is to just quit civilization.
What, scatter to the winds? Do you know how hard it is to live in the desert for a normal person?
We have spent our whole lives learning how to make the most out of living on this land.
If you create a new civilization, if you create a new grove, what do you think's going to happen?
I don't plan on
Honestly.
creating a new grove.
Then what is your plan? Because it sounds like the plan is to turn tail and run.
Exactly. Eat berries and wait for death. It is better than melting.
Is it really? Is it really better to sit there and wait, knowing what's going to come, knowing that your life is empty, than standing up for what you believe in and reclaiming a place that's yours?
This place has not been my home for a long time. And you lost all right to tell me how to live my life. But tell me one thing, do you really think you can defeat this thing?
By myself, never. But I think if we all stand together, yes, it's just one creature. I was able to stand before it before. It didn't kill me, did it? I'm still standing. It left.
Nyx looks into your eyes it seems that they're searching for something in them.
You know me, I wouldn't lie to you about this. I don't even like you getting wasted. You think I would send you into a situation where I think you're just gonna be slaughtered? I'd be the first person to tell you to run if I really thought this was unwinnable.
You see Nyx's hand kind of like wanders up to their neck without realizing, and they seem to be rubbing it while they stare into your eyes, and it's kind of more of like 1,000-yard stare at this point. They're looking through you and thinking. I really, really fucking hope that you know what you're doing, Audra.
I'm not the stupid little girl I was then. I've grown up. We've both grown up. We can do this.
Fine. Gods, you are going to be the end of me. What do you need?
This is just the beginning. Let's see who's willing and able to fight, and those who can't or aren't willing, let's make sure they get somewhere safe. You know who can be trusted in the guard. Can you help us find those people and gather them?
I can. You wrote in the sky earlier. Are you able to do that again?
Yeah. Takes 10 minutes.
Maybe you should put out a call or an advert to everyone that is interested in trying to defend the city and kill this thing. Come to... Where are we meeting up again? The arena?
We've been going to the manse is pretty defendable. I know it's not the happiest place ever, but it's defendable, and the arena has no roof now.
True. Fine. Yeah. Right for everyone to meet at the mansion.
Okay. I'll look up at the sky, and then, as I concentrate for 10 minutes as a ritual, what will appear is a call to arms. We can defeat this creature together. Meet at Artemis's manse. And then it's signed, Audra.
Cool.
Actually, I'll sign it Audra and Nyx. Co-write.
I will gather the others. Whoever is there. See you soon, I suppose.
Thank you for trusting me. I know it isn't easy.
Nyx begins to walk inside and away.
Wow, okay, I'm really happy that they didn't choose to go live in the wilderness alone and die, because they would definitely get sold into slavery. Just saying that it happens.
I mean, I'd rather not people fight with us out of fear for things like that. But yeah, I've heard that the outside world is pretty terrible.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm happy that I don't know. Oh man! Also, you could cut the tension in that conversation with a big old dagger. Wow.
Yeah, there's a history there.
Yeah, I'll say. I kind of got the vibe that they were a little jealous of Chance.
I mean, I moved on from Nyx a long time ago, but there's a lot of unresolved things there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we can resolve them after we don't die.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. We don't die, and then everyone will be great friends.
Yeah.
Did you want to do something specific while we were here? I know you wanted to come with.
No, I just...
Or talk to me about something specific? Are you okay?
Well, I don't know.
Berry?
I would like a good berry, but I'm kind of I don't know how to say this without sounding like a huge asshole.
Okay.
But I don't know if I can. You heard what Amanda had said, right? Like I don't know if I can stay here.
Just take a deep breath.
I'm sorry. I physically couldn't do that at this time because I feel like if I stay here and and the cities get raised, they said we had to choose between here and Duraz and Own, and my mom's possibly at Own, and I can't just sit back and let her die. I can't do that.
Okay, if we kill this creature, it won't be able to follow through on those threats.
I guess.
As much as I hate resorting to violence, with some people, you just have to use violence.
But what if it goes and attacks these other places first, and we aren't there? And
it said that we had 24 hours to decide. So, why would it do that before the deadline? That would just make it a liar.
Well, I don't know. Some things like to be liars.
Well, yeah, but if your threat is a lie, that's just a bluff.
I don't know. I'm scared. I'm very scared, and I don't want my mom to die. I think that's a valid thing to be scared of, right? I think that's
okay. I'm just gonna put my hands on Arazid's shoulders and kind of like lean down a little bit because I'm actually on the taller side for a girl, so I can look at you eye to eye. I understand where you're coming from. I was terrified to fight the twins. I was terrified to come back here because there are a lot of bad things going on here. There are a lot of bad things going on in the world, but we can't live our lives in fear. Fear isn't going to do anything. Running away is not going to do anything. Even if you left, what would happen? What would stop the dragon from doing what it was going to do anyways?
I don't know.
Nothing. I know you're scared. It's a scary situation. That's a valid feeling. You know, fear is your body's way of trying to keep you alert for dangerous situations. So it's actually very appropriate in this instance.
We need to get a lot of people together.
That's what I'm trying to do. We need to
train, and we need to get. Well, I know some of them are already trained, but we need to get them prepared. And we can do this. It's going to be okay, and we can do this.
If we stand together, I wasn't lying. I would never lie to you all about this. Like I said, if I really thought it would help and I thought it was the best choice, I would be helping everybody pack their bags and shoving them full of good berries.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's right. You're smart and you know things.
I know some things. Some things I don't really understand, but this I do believe.
Okay. Thank you. I'm okay. I'm normal. I'm fine.
It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, okay, well I'm not, but I'm trying really hard to hold it together.
Okay. You wrote in the sky, okay, let's just get everyone together. I'm gonna push through this. And even if I'm not okay, I'm not going to externalize that feeling. You know, you can just process that emotion of not being okay. You know, we're going to take a nice long walk back to the manse and we can just talk about it. We can just talk about what's going to happen, how we're going to strategize. You know, there are a lot of people on the guard. There are a lot of people here. There are a lot of people who can help us. We're not in this alone, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, we should check the back house because I've heard that there are special weapons that are like super good at killing dragons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I guess it's next on our to-do list, Ren. We're gonna try to find some dragon slaying weapons.
And so you guys are heading to the back house. Chance is staying to turn the manse into your field office, I suppose.
War room.
Solas?
I think at this point, he would not really think of much else to do. So he would begrudgingly make his way over to where Chance asked him to be. Slowly, though.
Fair enough.
And I would also like to go to the Scarlet Forge and see if we can quickly commission a ballista.
Okay, would that be just before? Probably be most
Yeah.
sensible.
It probably makes sense to go to Scarlet first and then back house.
Right, go for it.
Knock, knock, knock on the front door.
You see the blacksmith and a fair few common folk are already hard at work making more weapons. There are a group of people that are currently making bundles of arrows. The blacksmith will look up as you approach. Tidings, my liege.
Audra kind of like blushes heavily and then like visibly calms herself. Greetings, thank you. So glad to see that you're at work making weaponry. This is so fantastic. Thank you so much. I was hoping I could perhaps bother you for a special project.
What do you need?
Ballista might be helpful if we don't have any already.
What is a ballista?
I will pull out my sketch pad. It's probably been more than 10 minutes since we encountered the dragon, right?
Yeah.
I will go into my dragon form again, and then try to recreate a ballista from like a book on a sketch pad.
You notice that when you do go into your form once more, a lot of the townsfolk seem quite uncomfortable.
Sorry,
By
this just
your
makes me like a little bit smarter. Sorry. It'll go away in like 10 minutes.
I'm not one to judge what the powerful do, but maybe give a warning next time.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize, and I will do so next time. I appreciate you bringing your concerns to my attention.
He seems emboldened by this. Feels like he was listened to.
Oh, that makes me so happy. So I will use my extra dragon smartness to try to faithfully recreate a ballista like sketch as well as I can.
All right. That's just gonna be a straight history check.
Can't roll lower than a 10 because I'm in my dragon form, so that's a 16.
Is that for intelligence as well as wisdom?
It's intelligence and wisdom, yeah.
So that's a 16, did you say, overall?
Yep, it becomes a 16 because I got a +6.
Your scaly little hands do a much better job at drawing a ballista than you would be able to do normally. You're not much of an artist, and it shows. The blacksmith, whose name is ironically Patience, nods in a form of understanding. I'll get working on this right away. You can count on us, dear.
I truly appreciate your help and support. I feel like together we can get through this and just build, I feel like, a much more peaceful grove.
After this massive battle that might destroy quite a lot of us.
My hope is to keep civilian casualties minimal, honestly, general casualties minimal. We are, if you have an interest, maybe if you want to send a representative to bring back news, we are meeting at Artemis's manse. I know it's or Artemis's old manse to kind of have like a strategy meeting. So, if somebody wants to attend that, does somebody want to come with me to attend that?
I'll make my brother do it. Blessing. Similar but not identical face pops out from round the back of the building, carrying several timbers. After some back and forth between the two brothers, a blessing will agree to follow.
Perfect, thank you. Normally we would have pages to do this, but things are a bit scattered right now.
Understandable. Not every day that you fend off a dragon, is it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Although I'm hopeful that there will be less interesting times ahead of us. Interesting's getting to be a bit much, isn't it?
Our mother always said when we were kids, may you live in interesting times. Well, I wish you would have stopped saying that, otherwise maybe we'd have had a chance to have some peace.
And like the graceful regent I am, I'm going to cut through the thicket here. I hope you don't mind. We just have like one last errand that we have to do before we get back.
I'm a big Eric fan.
The back house is deserted at the moment. No one at the desk when you walk in. No one seems to be around at all.
Has the place been cleared out?
It does seem like someone has been in here and done some snatching, but they were clearly in a hurry.
Okay, I'm going to cast Detect Magic as a ritual and just see if I can spot any magical weapons.
So that'd take 10 minutes to cast.
Yeah, I don't have it prepared.
Arazid, I assume, is gonna just kind of like awkwardly hover while Audra is doing this, or would you like to search around a little bit?
Well, actually, since we're doing a searching thing anyway, for probably 4 weapons that have magic in them, I can do a little searching with my eyeballs.
Hell yeah.
I know what to roll.
You know that there is a basement area, and you see that there is also several floors above you, which you assume are primarily offices and more clandestine parts of this building's operation. Where do you wish to go?
I've learned that the best shit is kept in the basement always.
All right. You find your way
So-
through the corridors down into the basement, and you come to the junction that was initially by Dorelian brought to your attention as the room in which Quinn died in.
Ain't no fucking way I'm going into that room.
Buried.
There are several other corridors that lead off into the darkness. There appears to be mammalian noises and smells coming from the area.
Can you be more specific than mammalian noises and smell?
You're gonna have to yeah, gonna have to open that door to find out.
Okay. I would like to do so.
You see walls, wall-to-wall cages of various types of animal, all kept inside. It is dirty, it is stinking. Most of these animals appear unharmed. Some of them appear to have been fused together.
Like medically or like magically?
Like magically. You encounter, for example, a cockatrice, which regards you with a cool, calm, inquisitive expression.
Whoa. Okay, I would like to approach this cockatrice.
For the record, this is what a cockatrice looks like.
That's so sad. I'm sorry. He's just got a chicken head. I am going to approach it and calm and in a nice voice and see if it is hurt, because animals in pain is that. Arazid is very against that. This person obviously had a hoarding problem or something, or they were doing some sort of insane shit down here. Hi. Oh man, I don't. Should I let it out? I need to get Audra.
The stink is starting to give you a headache.
Yeah, I'm gonna apologize to the cockatrice first, and then slowly back out of the room. Oh no! And I'm gonna go get Audra.
By this time, 10 minutes is more or less up.
Oh yeah, are you okay? You look.
What did you?
You didn't go down to the
find out?
basement, did you? That's kind of it's macabre sight.
I found more than macabre. I found animal abuse, but that's I don't know.
I guess I will follow Arazid back to the site of the animal abuse, just seeing if my detect magic pings at any point.
As you get further into the basement, your ping is off the charts.
Cool.
Creatures such as the cockatrice are glowing, with enchantment magic traces. In the center of the room is a desk. On the desk it appears to be a log.
What does the log say?
It chronicles the efforts ordered by Artemis to understand and reproduce the circumstances to which the Great Bitch came to exist. There appears
What's it say?
to be hints that Artemis has asked for this to happen so that he may find a way to reunite his two halves.
Himself and his sister.
Yeah. That would be a logical conclusion.
Or himself and that weird beast form he had. But either way, obviously taking that.
What should we do? Should we let them go? I feel really bad that they're locked in here.
Based on this log, would I be able to pertain if these creatures are all, like, they're all animals, right?
Yeah. Like, I would say there's about 30 different cages in the room, and about 25 of them still appear to be normal animals, not chimeras.
Okay, I will just release them. Seems like such a dumb idea. Can I gather the ones who are chimeras together and try to cast Dispel Magic on the group of them and return them to their natural state?
Yeah, so you open every single cage all in one go?
Yeah, first letting out like the normal ones and just kind of like ushering them out towards the way out.
Many different types of animals are suddenly in the weirdest looking stampede.
I mean, I'll let them out, like, kind of pace it so that they can, like, go, but yeah.
And remaining is a cockatrice. What appears to be some kind of like lizard camel thing. One that appears to be a wolf mixed with a snake. Another appears to be a wolf mixed with a dragon. And the cockatrice.
Can I try to gather them all together and just cast Dispel Magic to try to get them back to whatever their normal state is?
Okay. To do so, you would have to give up your concentration on detect magic, right? Or is it not?
Dispel Magic's not concentration.
Okay, cool. I think I might need it linked again.
And let me know if that's higher than a 3rd level spell, and I'll roll for it.
It is higher. Nice. So which creature would you like to cast it on?
Ooh, I can only do one. Let's start with the cockatrice.
You approach it and it begins to back away.
It's okay. It's okay.
You can speak to animals natively or with a spell.
With the spell, unless it understands common.
This one does not appear to. But you get a sense that it is trying to refuse what you're doing.
Okay, then I guess I'll try to move on to the next thing. Maybe the wolf snake.
Wolf snake. The front half that is wolf kind of like slowly lumbers towards you. It's not used to only having 2 legs. It looks at you with baleful eyes, and you rest your hand upon it, there is a wet, ripping sound. A flash of light from your hand, and then suddenly there is a wolf and a snake. The latter of which immediately begins to flee.
Bye. Okay.
The wolf regards you with a calm, slightly mistrusting gaze, and then just bolts out the door.
Okay, that's all I can do today, and there's several more animals that need help. I'm so sad. I'm out of third level spell slots, you guys. I'm so sorry.
I wish I could help too. And do I have anything that can help? Probably not.
Do you have Dispel Magic?
No. This is so sad.
I mean, I can't really do anything, so I'll leave. I don't really want to. Okay, Arazid, you found them, so it's your choice. Should we leave them in the cages until we can potentially unforce them, or should we just let them go free?
Well, I don't think some of these creatures could survive in the way that they are fused. They might be at like a disadvantage in nature, so I think we should probably keep them here.
Okay, I guess I will keep the ones, aside from the cockatrice, who doesn't seem to want to be changed, so I'll just let him go. I guess, can I just roll a vibe check to see who's happy and who's not with the way that they currently are?
Fair. So on the 3 remaining, yeah, give me a vibe check.
I would like to help, by the way.
That's
with
a
advantage
very
because of
clutch
help.
help. All 3 of the non-cockatrice remaining chimera seem to be feeling quite weak. They indeed look like they may be disadvantaged in survival in nature.
Okay, I'm going to leave each of them a good berry, and they will be remaining in their cages, but everybody else can go free.
The lizard half of the lizard wolf seems very interested in the berries. The wolf half is absolutely disgusted. It's an interesting sight trying to watch someone alternately loving and hating eating a thing.
It's just so I know you guys have sustenance for a day.
Oh.
Is there anything else in this building that is pinging my detect magic?
In the other half of the basement, there is what looks like an alchemy reagent lab of sorts. And on one of the benches, there is a potion and a necklace.
Do I know the school of magic for either of these?
I believe they would both be enchantment.
And can I roll an Arcana check just to see if I recognize these items?
Yeah, go for it. The potion is something that's becoming quite common for you at the moment. It is a potion of healing, the 2nd level one, which I think is 4d4 plus 4.
Do you want me to roll separately for the necklace?
Yes, please. The necklace doesn't look familiar to you. It is certainly magical of some form.
Okay, I'll just tuck that away for now.
Cool.
And moving back up the building, I think there was like an office administrative area.
When you turn from examining this room, you see the cockatrice standing in the doorway.
Hey, buddy, do you have something to tell us? Do I know what languages cockatrices speak?
You can roll a nature check to find out.
I would like to help if I can.
I'm actually just going to try to speak to it telepathically, because if I can speak to it telepathically, then it can speak back if it knows the language I know.
Cool. And let me just double check at your languages real quick. Oh, cool. All roll 20s frozen. Awesome. Oh, cool.
I have
Sorry,
Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Druidic, Elvish, Infernal.
Cool. It knows one of those languages. Druidic.
Can I... Oh, Druidic. Interesting. In its head, it will hear, how can I help you?
Friend?
Yeah, I'm your friend.
Battle?
Yeah, there's gonna be a battle. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
Battle friend! Battle friend! Battle friend! It kind of jumps up and down on its little chickeny legs. It seems to be striking some kind of like combative pose. But not to you, it's more like mimicking it to communicate with you.
So you want to fight with me?
Yes!
But like with me. Okay. Okay. By the way, does Arazid speak Druidic?
No, Arazid is like, what the fuck is going on?
The cockatrice wants to help us fight.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I know anything about how useful a lizard chicken is in a fight?
Give me a nature check and we'll see. They're not the most powerful being in the world, but they also aren't useless in battle.
Okay, I nod cautiously and go, okay, but we have to keep him very safe.
I mean, it's his home too. He deserves to be able to fight for it.
That's true, but I'm worried. I want him to be safe and not hurt, but, it'll be fine.
You know what? Speaking of, I will ask in Druidic the cockatrice what their name is.
Name?
Yeah, what should I call you?
I don't know.
Okay, well, just like listen out for some of the noises that we're making with our mouths, and if you find some that you like, just let me know, okay?
Name friend, battle friend.
I'm Audra, by the way, and this is Arazid.
I like that
We have
name.
a friend.
Arazid. Sounds tough.
It's cool, right?
What's it saying about me?
He really likes your. Sorry, I don't know the cockatrice. It's a cockatrice, so it's got to be male, right? Because cocks are male chickens. Anyways.
Because I imagine Arazid just heard, like, random noises and then Arazid. It was like, what the hell?
Really liked your name. Thought it was cool.
Oh.
Talking about names right now because they haven't picked one, so we're just.
Oh. Well, we can share one. That'd be funny.
That might be confusing.
It would be really funny and cute.
Well, you two can work that out amongst yourselves.
Bold thing to say when you know they don't have a language in common, but okay.
They can figure it out. It's not that hard. I talk to animals all the time. It's fine. I will attempt to, like, offer my arm to the cockatrice like it's a falcon. You wanna come with us, or?
Let's go.
Okay. We leave this area. I really want to make sure we check the office before we go, though, or if there's like some sort of administrative area.
Yep, there is. A couple of offices upstairs. You can roll an investigation check.
Nothing magical pops up.
Nothing magical.
You know what? I think I will assist Arazid with investigation.
Yippee! I don't know if you want me to do this, but I can try.
Please
I'm just
roll.
gonna help you.
Advantaged investigation.
And guidance.
Oh.
You got a better bonus than me. Guidance!
Oh, a 17's pretty good. Arazid, you find a shipping manifold that appears to have been made quite recently. From Duras to Solaris's manse, 1 case of Shakat beetles.
So I'm gonna read this very slowly because my reading comprehension is not great. And then I'm gonna go, beetles! Why does it always come back to beetles?
I actually, when I was looking through Nyx's memories, Solaris and Artemis's memories, I actually saw that. They're being imported from here. Or to here, or something. There's like trade of it going on. And it's very bad, and honestly I've never been against any animal in particular, but fuck those beetles.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
How many of them is on the manifest?
What a great question.
It says one cask.
They're selling them by the cask. Okay.
Arazid the cockatrice jumps up onto the table. Bugs! Bugs! Tasty!
You know what? You are so right. I feel like you would be great at eating beetles.
Beetle friends! Beetle food.
Beetle enemies.
Crunchy!
Okay, we should really get back on task. There's probably a ton of people at the manse by now, so we should get over there. This is unfortunately a problem for another time. Just like so many of our other problems.
Put a pin in
They
it.
stick piling up. Okay, are you ready to go be a leader?
Okay, but before I do that, I have to tell you something.
Yeah?
I think Quinn's alive, and I just walk away.
Oh!
We don't have time to talk about it. I don't have time to process any of those feelings, so...
Well, okay, but we're gonna do that later. We're gonna do that later, and then we're gonna talk together.
If I die, I just want you to know that they're in, I believe, Duras. Ren.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
They've been sold into slavery, and they're in Duras, so if I die, I'm sorry, that's your responsibility.
Okay, I'll add that to the list of things to do.
And then we return to the manse.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
During this time, could Chance had fetched the person who does tattoos?
She has come of her own accord.
Ah, perfect. All right. Chance looks about. Is this everyone?
There are like more people than are represented here. These are the main players, and each of them has a gathering of commoners and a few guards alongside them.
Chance stands at the table and everything. He lets out a bit of a sigh, looking about. All right. Think this is probably everybody. If not, relay the message. I know none of you know me, so I'll start with an introduction. I'm Chance Kanda. I am a former mercenary turned adventurer, savior. I don't particularly know nor care about titles at this point. What I will tell you is that I am partners with Audra as well as friends with everybody who we roam with. I am trying to coordinate all of this to the best of my ability. Any of those who have the will to fight, I'm going to tell you right now, I cannot guarantee your survival. I will do everything in my power to ensure that only myself and those who are willing to put down their lives are in the front against this fight, and everybody else is on the sidelines with a ranged weapon if they wish to fight, or as backup to take out any potential minions that are raised or brought alongside. I'm not going to force anybody to fight a dragon. This is something that we caused and something we will fix. In that vein, anybody who has the ability to help in any way possible, I don't care how big or small that might be, how insignificant you might think it is, I need to know what you can contribute so I can best formulate a plan. As I said, I'm a former mercenary. I worked out of Duras for a bit, out of multiple areas for a little bit. I'm somewhat capable, while not taking a leadership position. I still know how to formulate battle plans and whatnot. Those of you who wish to flee or cannot fight, I can offer you protection as well. There is an island nestled in the mountains to the northwest of here. It has a volcano on it as well as some other things. That island is ours. It is controlled by magic. It flies about. We decided that it would be best to park it in the mountains, hidden away. While I cannot provide safe passage to it, if you can get to it, it can provide protection until this battle is over. I would ask that each of you think over this and please come forward now so that we can begin formulating a plan.
My dear, I think I speak for everyone here when I say if we were planning to cower or flee, we would not have come. We are yours to command.
Very well. First things first, he's going to look towards the tattoo artist. I need your skills. I do not. Who has the ability to cast resurrection magic, and who all can do it currently if we need to have the spell caught and put into a tattoo form? I don't care what it costs, and I don't care what. I'm sure between the manses and everything, we can raid enough diamonds to be able to make sure that a lot of our major players have one, so that if anybody goes down, we have a way of getting them back up.
I know the spell, but I need to sleep before I can cast it again.
Gentle nod.
Esme and Perdita will put their hands up. Old Bort will put his hoof up.
Very well. I will ask each of you to aid us in whatever way we can. We are going to... I know that this will be long and grueling work. We need to rest as well. We're going to start... As soon as this meeting is over, I would ask that we start applying the tattoos and whatnot, so that those who fall in battle, we have the chance to get up and get out. I do not want to see any of you lose your lives. Next comes weapons.
I actually have something to contribute here. I was just at the smithy. They are formulating weapons as well as ballista.
Good.
In a
We'll have
hurry.
it in position. I believe the best battleground would likely be the Noble District. We can lure it here. There is an abandoned manse in the Underbarrow manse, as well as Artemis and Solaris' manse. Can be, honestly, I don't think people will mind if they get destroyed. I understand there are other buildings and businesses here. However, I believe for the sake of the many, it is best to put these few buildings in risk. I will guarantee that if anything is to happen to your business or your home within this district, it'll be rebuilt without any charge to you once that this is done.
And if you don't mind stone, I have the ability to do a lot of reconstruction immediately afterwards.
Any objections on this?
There is silence. It seems that the crowd is quite resolute.
Very well. This also gives us an advantage. We can have people hide within buildings to take the opportunity to strike with the upper hand. If the dragon thinks that only a few stand before it, then perhaps it'll land and try and overwhelm. That is when the trap is sprung, and we can attack from all sides. If possible, we should try and get it trapped on the ground, so those who do not have the ability to reach it can still fight. I have magical items that allow me to fly. I know not many do, so any who are more prowess with martial skills need to be able to strike this beast. If not, we're going to be fighting a losing battle of a dragon flying about, doing flybys until we no longer draw breath.
Druidic magic allows us to bind a flying creature to the earth.
Very well. I will entrust that somebody is whoever we put in charge of that, we will then have to assign some people as protection. They'll stay within concentration range to ensure that it maintains. However, we should not have them be on the front and have them off to the side distracting this beast. That way they do not have to worry about losing concentration, and we do not have to worry about the beast beginning to fly once again.
She isn't represented here, but maybe Sophia would be a good person for that, to maintain concentration on that.
Sophia
Very well,
doesn't
if
appear
she's
to be
so-
back yet.
No,
If
I was saying
she's
she's not represented here, but I was saying she might be a good person for that, since it's a more non-violent job.
If she returns and so wishes to aid in doing so, I see no reason why not to. That it will be our best tactic in this fight. I believe that going forward, we need to ensure that all of our equipment is up to snuff. If we have any magic blades, we need to equip them to those who can wield them. Anything that we can silver, we should. We do not know the resistances of such a beast. We know that this creature has been living since prior calamity times or was formed during the calamity. It is an ancient being. We need to be prepared for the fact that it probably has resistances against many of things. In regards to magic and such, given that it breathes poison and spits acid, I presume that those will not be useful against it. I am unsure if anybody else has insight into what other things might not work well against this beast.
Can I roll some sort of check to try to get insight into this?
Sure.
What would you like me to roll?
It depends what kind of insight you're looking for.
I think resistances.
What kind of resistances you think? This
Yeah, like
creature
I would
have?
maybe assume like a dragon is maybe resistant to fire.
How would
No,
be,
what else?
A nature or a history check.
Let's go
Dependent
history.
on like what you're going for, because you could try remember things you've read about this creature before.
Yeah, let's go with that because we have come across quite a bit of information about this creature. Not a great roll though.
You strongly suspect that this creature is resistant to non-magical weaponry. And it's very likely that they have a resistance to fire and poison.
I will relay that information.
Chance will nod as expected. Any who go into the fray of melee combat should have a magical weapon. If you do not have one, please speak now and we will do our best to get that for you.
If you be wanting magic weapons, I have just the place, speaks up a voice from the door. It is
Chance.
Perdak Longstep.
He's had a change of heart. I love him now. Sorry.
Chance will nod. Very well, Perdak. I will leave that to you. I will entrust that you are also able to train any who wish to aid us.
Best I can in 24 hours.
I thank you. Should we all see to the end of this, I will make sure that you are rewarded for your bravery and aid.
Gives the tiniest salute.
Chance will nod, looking back towards the two that ran the potion shop. If you do not mind me asking, what potions do you currently have or could brew within this time frame that could aid us?
Antidotes. Resistances to the fire and to the poison. We could do healing for you. Speed, perhaps.
All of those would be much appreciated for the primary fighters. I hope that our party, our group, is the only ones that have to foray and will need such things. I hope that for the rest of you, being able to use hit and run tactics of getting in, getting a hit, falling back into the buildings, firing arrows, will be able to work to aid us. We are the reasons why this issue has come, therefore we shall deal with the consequences. On that note, I also have something to announce. This is more towards my group of individual friends who have ventured with us, as well as a general announcement to those who know of Ophabaris. Inqua and Ophabaris have abandoned us.
What? No, I saw them not 30 minutes ago.
I returned to alert them to what is going on. Inqua decided that we are not doing the quest that we must do to restore the sun, and has decided to abandon us, and Ophabaris has followed with them. If they were to return, they are to be captured alive.
Captured? I don't know if that's...
I will not have them attempting to steal our stuff while in the midst of a siege. If they have a change of heart and wish to rejoin, welcome them with open arms. However, if they are seen on the premises of this city, I would ask that we capture them until this matter is resolved so that we can resolve that matter. This takes a higher precedent.
I agree with that line of action. I think that's a very fair way to do things.
I do not know which way that they are going or what they are doing. However, I have to respect Inqua's decision in doing so. That does not mean I will allow somebody to return to take things of mine. I apologize for the off track. However, if you see either of them, please relay that information to myself or Audra, or any other of our party. Next, Chance will look to Vera. What assistance can you offer in this battle?
I have some magic, mostly illusory. I could possibly make the creature believe that it is somewhere it is not.
That would be extremely helpful for letting us get the drop on it. Maybe you could make it believe that certain areas are abandoned if we're not able to clear them out, or...
That would be best, or to help aid the others who are hiding in the buildings to make it seem like they are not there. I'm not one to back down. I will fight this thing head on, without tricks, without anything like that. It is in large fault of my own that this has befalled upon us.
You can't take this all on yourself, Chance.
It was our party that did it, and it was me who pushed the decision.
We can discuss this more later. I'd like to discuss this more later, but in private. Strategy.
What weapons are we getting commissioned?
It looked like they were producing a lot of ranged weapons, arrows, bolts, bows, crossbows, ballista, things that will be helpful whether the creature is grounded or not.
Good. We should take any silver that we can find within the manses and bring them to silver the tips. If it is resistant to non-magical attacks, then that should aid in penetrating that barrier or resistance.
Really? I thought that was just for werewolves and the like. Am I mistaken?
Maybe I'm the mistaken one.
I'm pretty sure silvered and not magical are like two different things.
Roll a history check.
I'll
Did your
do it.
learning tell you? You are correct in that silvered weapons and magical weapons are two different things, but more creatures than just werewolves have been shown to be weak to silvered weapons, whilst being resistant to regular weaponry.
Based on that roll, would I know that if that would potentially apply to like this creature, like a draconic creature?
Dragons are rare enough that there isn't anything specific written about them. But people do talk about behirs being weak to silvered weapons. And a behir is basically just like a wingless dragon with 2 extra legs, right?
It's worth it to try, but the priority should be getting magical weapons if possible, even if it's a simple enchantment.
I can agree there. However, things like ballista arrows and everything, it's easier to do that than it is to enchant them. It'll give it the best shot in dealing the most to this being. If we are able to fell this creature, it will mean the weakening of Sklod and Henry Underbarrow, as well as the rulers of Unalembo, as from what we've been able to gather, this thing makes pacts with the leaders of civilizations. It is a tyrant who seeks to control everything. Sooner or later, we were bound to clash with it in our journey to restore the second sun. I will share with you now what we know. The calamity was caused by us, by humans.
Some gasps
By that, I
from around
mean
the room.
people. An ancient civilization decided to weaponize a sun, and they drew power from it into 4 elements. That is why it fell. That was the That is the true nature behind the calamity. During this is whenever that dragon was born by the leader. I believe it was the leaders of both civilizations at war with each other,
Correct.
fused into one being. This is a being of pure malice and evil at this point. There is no redeeming it. It should be killed, as it is the reason why people have suffered. It props up tyrants like the Dressingmans, like Scalad, like Henry Underbarrow. Those who seek power. It speaks of a divine right to rule. There is no such thing. People should rule themselves. This is what we fight for. We are on the precipice of a new age, or the iron regime of the current tyrants.
There's some very silent, shocked faces around the room as others try and digest this info.
My group is seeking to reverse this. We had sought to simply defeat the Dressingmans to give you all freedom, so that you may not live under their tyrannical rule and their magics of twisting minds to get what they want. It is seen that has caught the attention of this beast, as it had made a pact with the others. I understand that this is shocking and a lot to take in. However, know that this could be a stepping stone on the path to bring back life across the land. We are close to finishing our quest. This was going to be an inevitability of facing this dragon. I am glad that we can come together to fight for our freedom. We are stronger together. Something that took me way too long to learn. So I ask each of you to place your trust in everyone else, that we will stand together. That is all. Let us prepare for what is to come.
As Chance finishes his speech, I walk up and just take his hand and kind of look around the room.
There's some like a scattered applause that begins to start with the banjo not player, Githa. She's kind of like wrapping her hand on her stringless banjo. And then it begins to spread. And
Arazid joins in.
all of the collective townsfolk begin applauding and hooting. Even Arazid, the cockatrice, is kind of cawing along.
I'll kind of lean in to Chance and kind of whisper, "Thank you for saying everything that I couldn't."
He'll nod and kind of raise a hand to kind of get us up. As I said, we need to get working. I hope we can celebrate all together afterwards. For now, let us do our parts. And he'll look towards, what's her name, the tattoo artist?
Sabra. Sabra Bolsa.
Looks towards Sabra. I'd like to get started as soon as we can. What do you need?
Ink, diamonds, magic, and a clean room.
All right. Clean room. Well, I mean, the room that Ophabaris was occupying has been pretty well cleaned out by him and Inqua. I presume that'll do.
Maybe. I could also just do it at my place. It is only over the road.
That works as well. That's probably best. You have ink there, I would presume?
I need the diamonds, and I'm going to need a very hard pestle and a mortar for them.
Chance will nod, looking towards the three that volunteered their magic. I would ask you to go with her. And we will send people one at a time to get things done. Everybody who has nothing else that they can aid with, I would ask you, search the mansions, take back these treasures that were stolen from the people, find diamonds and bring them there, so that we may make sure that nobody ends up dead after this fight.
There's a few aye cheers around, and some people begin walking quickly downstairs and out of the building to do as you wish. Sabra will leave with the ones who volunteered their magic, which is Perdita, Esme, and Aldebort. Audra's mother will approach her.
Marie, I'm surprised to see you here.
This has been my home for many, many years, darling. I will live here for the rest of it, even if that is not long. You are a powerful child. Not a child any longer. And I am here. Now.
It's good to see you well. I was worried.
What can I do?
You know how to suture, right?
Yes.
Let's prepare a first aid station. After this, there are probably going to be some minor injuries, and we're probably going to want to conserve magical healing for the most gravely wounded. So let's prepare for minor injuries.
That I can do.
Prepare a place just for people to rest, you know? I know that something that, you know, maybe we could turn the shop into just a temporary infirmary.
I'll begin making the preparations, child.
Thank you for coming.
She walks down the stairs with purpose. Vera will turn. You say Elphabaris is gone.
Yes,
I'm gonna search
they
his
left.
room.
Go ahead. If you're looking for anything in particular, I'm not entirely sure you'll find it. They did share knowledge of the charging station. I believe it is gone. However, I did not confirm for myself.
Hopefully he will have some kind of weird magic scrolls that he forgot to take with him that maybe I could use.
Very well.
And she slinks away. Perdak disappears into the back, and he comes out with like a crate that is as big as he is, full of swords and hatchets, and he begins clinking down the stairs, shouting at some people to follow him to learn how to really help. And soon enough, outside, you hear the sounds of his rather small voice shouting at people and instructing them in the ways of the sword. Most people have disappeared by this point, going about their assigned tasks, and eventually Grove comes alive over the course of the afternoon with various preparations.
Chance is gonna call over everybody for a bit of a huddle at like the party. All right. Unfortunately, it's true what I said about Inqua. I hate to think that he would abandon us in a time like this. However, whenever I went to tell them, that is what he said, and even though that I tried to convince that killing the great bitch and the source of power would help us, he seems set that we are not doing enough. I don't know what he's going after first, if it's going to be the husk or the water orb. However, he did say once that he has found everything, he will return to us, and it's likely that he took the Genbei.
I just can't believe he didn't say goodbye. He went looking for Sophia, you know?
Chance will nod. Then there's a chance that she won't return either. The three of them might be gone to try and do what they can. I'm unsure if that means to try and steal the water orb from under Sklod's nose or to dive into the abyss to attempt to retrieve the husk. All we know is that we have 3 elements and the island. They'll have to come back eventually.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he thinks he's doing, but it's not. I don't want Grandpa to die.
I'm sure he'll be fine. He's smart. Besides, he's got another smart person with him, so... Worst case scenario... Okay, let's not think about that, but... Sure,
best case scenario is that we find them imprisoned safely, soundly in Juras once that we go back there. Well, now that everybody's gone, I am concerned. I know we have everybody working and everything, but that thing, do we really think we can take it?
I do. It derives its power from its pacts, and it's missing 2 of those right now. And there is a reason that it gave us a warning and left instead of just killing us. I think it might be worried that we could defeat it. It's bluffing, right? It has to be.
Perhaps. Either way, each of us should get one of the tattoos for revival. If any of us goes down, then help the other. Chance will look towards Solas. I know we've had our differences, and I apologize for the asshole that I have been up to this point. I hope we can move forward on better terms.
That's what I've been trying to do for the past week or so. It's fine.
Chance will then look towards Arazid. I know things are not looking the brightest. However, remain strong, my friend. We will get through this.
I am strong. I'm big and strong. He
That's right.
says, like 2 inches away from a mental breakdown.
Don't worry. After this, we'll have all the time in the world to sit down and do some more reading and writing.
Okay. Yeah.
Chance will look towards Ollie. All right, I don't really have any inspirational speech for you or anything like that, or whatever.
Oh,
Please just keep the orb safe, and I would appreciate if you don't also run off, Because at least Inqua didn't have an orb.
I can't believe that you would accuse me of that.
Look,
I don't think it's more of an accusation, more than like a valid fear at this point. I mean, I never thought Inqua would
Valid?
just leave.
I have never run off in my life. I am
Then Chance
not
will
a
find-
runner. I am a lover.
Chance will finally turn towards Audra. Thank you for everything.
I have no idea what you're thanking me. It seems like I've only gotten you into more trouble.
We got into this together. We'll get out of it together.
I still can't believe you tried to take the blame for all of this in front of everyone. Clearly all of this is my fault, if it's anybody's fault.
No, it's nobody's fault, but it's best for people who resent to have somebody to resent.
And why should they resent you? You're the architect of all of this. You made a war room.
I simply did what I must. If that means that some people do not fully trust me or after this they blame me, so be it. So be it.
Out of nowhere, Ollie is going to bring out a bottle full of an wine of some form. Though when she uncorks it, you realize it appears to be just apple juice. 3 cheers for us.
I guess so.
Come on, this might be the last chance we ever get to drink together.
I don't believe that, and I will not take a drink under that pretense.
Well, you gotta drink,
Alright.
don't you, silly boots? Are you thirsty?
I guess. This isn't alcohol, right?
Nope. Just regular old crushed apple.
Audra will shrug and make a glass for herself out of ice.
Ooh, can you do that again, and then again, and then again, and then again?
Sure, why not? I make everybody glasses out of ice.
And Ollie will pour the apple juice into each.
Chance will raise his glass. Alright then. This isn't the last. This is simply just another drink of many. We'll get through this. And he'll toss back the juice within.
Ollie will hold up her glass and quite dramatically go, "For the heart, the breath, the amalgam, the head, the friend, and the core."
To all of my new friends who made me braver than I ever thought I could be.
Here, here. And
Ollie
you know,
looks
if something bad
expectantly
does
at-
happen,
Sorry, go ahead.
if something bad does happen, these are the people that I would want to be with if something bad did happen. So this isn't inspiring at all, but you know, I'm happy I'm here.
I'm happy you're here too.
Ollie will turn expectantly to Solas.
I guess it's alright being here.
Ollie gives a look of, "Fuck it, that's good enough." And she downs her own glass back.
Or is it a sip sippy?
Chance will set the ice glass on the table. Alright, each of us should be doing what we can as well. I'm going to go see how the tattoo, if they're ready for tattoos, get one myself so I can have the magic if needed, then we can start sending other members in. I think we should all get one first, and then we should start going with the more senior members of Grove, as if they would be able to probably hold themselves better in a fight, so be able to help the younger ones, and then if they fall, then vice versa, etc., etc. Then I'm going to go help train people, because it's the least I can do and get my mind off things for like a couple hours.
I mean, honestly, the best things I could do is probably see where these keys lead, jingle, 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 and we'll sleep. I'm useless, and all of you if I don't sleep.
Yeah, I would say we do need to make sure we rest, because I could not take another breath weapon like that. Or another breath or fury of poisonous gas like that.
I mean, frankly, normally that would have... I don't even know what happened.
Alright, let's all do what we can. Together. And Chance is gonna like put a hand forward.
Is this where we do a group hug?
I think we put our hands on top of his hand, yes?
I heard that was a thing that people do. Did I hear wrong?
Arazid puts his tiny ass, baby ass, puts his baby ass, motherfucking child, tiny ass hand onto Chance's hand.
Audra will do 2 hands because she's like that.
It's gotta be extra. Okay.
Ollie's gonna stick her hand in the pile.
Solas will wait till last.
Alright, we break on 3. 1, 2, 3, and then Chance will like move up his hand as he kind of goes, for Grove!
For Grove!
For Grove.
Yeah.
Break!
Alright. Chance will rub like the back of his head as he exits to go check in on people and to go try and get a tattoo.
I think that considering the amount of prep that is going to need to be done for this, both in and out of game, here is a perfect place to end this session.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy, here we go, killing again.
Oh boy!
Here we go, killing the dragon again.
Very interesting 69th episode, thank you.
It also leaves a wonderful place for all the necessary out-of-game roleplay that we're going to need.
Yeah.